The woman walking toward our table has my husband's eyes. I notice this before I notice anything else. Before the expensive silk blouse, before the deliberate stride, before the way every head in Marcello's turns to watch her move through the dining room. She has Daniel's eyes, that specific shade of green-gray that looks like sea glass, the same slight downward tilt at the outer corners that makes him look perpetually sympathetic. I've spent 5 years studying those eyes across breakfast tables and in dark bedrooms, and now here they are in a stranger's face, moving closer to our anniversary dinner with the inevitability of a wave. Daniel sees her 3 seconds after I do. I know because his hand freezes halfway to his wine glass, and the color drains from his face so quickly I think he might actually faint. His mouth opens. Nothing comes out. "Danny," the woman says, stopping beside our table. Her voice is warm honey with a sharp edge underneath. "I'm sorry," she says, and she sounds like she means it. "If I'd known sooner, if I'd been watching more carefully." "It's not your fault." I'm staring at Vanessa's ceiling, tracing cracks in the plaster. "I'm the one who fell for his act. Don't do that to yourself. Danny's very good at what he does. He's patient, methodable, convincing. That's what makes him dangerous." We talk for another 20 minutes. She tells me more about her marriage, the little warning signs she missed until they added up to something undeniable. The way he isolated her from friends, how he convinced her to quit her job because the stress was affecting her health. The joint bank account that slowly drained into his personal accounts. When we hang up, I start making a list. Every strange thing about my relationship with Daniel, every red flag I explained away. The list gets long quickly. He never wanted me to meet his family. Said they were estranged, that reaching out would cause him pain. I respected that boundary. He discouraged me from going to my 10-year college reunion. Said he'd feel left out, that my ex-boyfriend would be there, that it wasn't worth the drama. I stayed home. He handled all our finances. Said it was easier with his business background, that I shouldn't stress about money. I let him. He made my coffee every morning. Said it was romantic, that he loved starting the day by taking care of me. I thought it was sweet. The pattern is obvious now. Every controlling behavior disguised as love. Every isolation dressed up as protection. And I fell for all of it because I wanted to believe in us. In the fairy tale of finding someone who loved me that much. The coffee. I keep coming back to the coffee. Did he drug me? Is that why some mornings felt so foggy? Or am I being paranoid now, seeing threats where there are none? I call the police officer and ask about the coffee pot they took as evidence. She tells me the lab is backed up, but they should have results in a few days. In the meantime, she suggests I might want to get a blood test, see if anything shows up in my system. Hair samples can show drug use over several months. Dr. Patricia Okonkwo's office is in the financial district, a sleek glass tower with modern art in the waiting room. Vanessa insisted on coming with me, sitting beside me while I explained to the doctor why I need toxicology screening. Dr. Okonkwo is in her 50s, with close-cropped silver hair and the kind of calm competence that makes you trust her immediately. "You're doing the right thing," she says after I finish my story. "Even if the tests come back negative, you'll have peace of mind. And if they're positive, we'll have documentation." She draws blood, takes hair samples, orders a full panel. "Results should be back in 3 to 5 days. I'll call you directly." Walking out of her office, I feel lighter somehow, like I'm taking control back, piece by piece. The restraining order hearing is scheduled for Thursday. Daniel doesn't show up, which the judge says is unusual but not disqualifying. I present the evidence, the insurance policies, the computer files, the concerning text messages, Melissa's testimony about her experience. The judge grants a temporary restraining order. Daniel has to stay at least 100 yards away from me, can't contact me directly, or through intermediaries, has to surrender any firearms. This is effective immediately, the judge tells me, handing me the signed order. If he violates it, call the police right away. Violation of a restraining order is a criminal offense. I walk out of the courthouse feeling like I've won something, though I'm not sure what. Daniel still has the apartment, my clothes, 5 years of my life. But I have my freedom, and that's worth more. Dr. Okonkwo calls on Saturday morning. "Sophie, your results came back. I need you to come in. Can you make it today?" Her voice has that careful neutrality medical professionals use when they have bad news. Vanessa drives me back to the financial district. We sit in Dr. Okonkwo's office, afternoon light slanting through the windows, while she pulls up my chart on her computer. Your blood work came back clean, she says. No traces of any sedatives or unusual substances. But your hair analysis showed something concerning. Over the past several months, you've had regular exposure to zolpidem, Ambien, in small doses. Not enough to knock you out, but enough to affect memory formation, cognitive function, and decision-making. The room tilts. Vanessa grabs my hand. The pattern suggests daily or near-daily exposure, Dr. Okonkwo continues. The levels peaked about 3 months ago, then decreased significantly in recent weeks. Can you think of any changes in your routine around that time? 3 months ago, I run through my memory, which suddenly feels unreliable. 3 months ago, Daniel gave me a new travel mug for my morning coffee. Said the old one wasn't keeping drinks hot enough. I started using it every day. 2 weeks ago, I dropped it. The ceramic shattered on the kitchen floor, and I threw the pieces away. Started using a regular mug instead. The drugging stopped when the mug broke. He was putting it in my travel mug, I hear myself say. Every morning, just a little bit. Not enough to make me suspicious, just enough to keep me foggy. Dr. Okonkwo's expression hardens. I'm going to document all of this. You'll need copies for the police and for any legal proceedings. Sophie, what was done to you is assault. It's a serious crime. The police take my medical records and add them to their investigation. Detective Marcus Chen, no relation to Vanessa, is assigned to my case. He's thorough, methodical, asks detailed questions about timeline and opportunity and motive. The insurance policies are the motive, he says, sitting across from me at the police station. $2.5 million. That's more than enough reason. And the drugging establishes a pattern of abuse and control. But here's the challenge. We need to prove he's the one who put the Ambien in your coffee. Can you think of anyone who might have witnessed him preparing your drinks? I can't. Daniel always made my coffee in the mornings before I was fully awake, sent me off to work with a kiss and a full travel mug. It was our routine, our sweet, poisonous routine. What about the original coffee maker? Detective Chen asks. The one in your apartment. Did you take it when you left? No, it's still there. We should test it. If he was crushing pills and mixing them into the grounds or the water reservoir, there might be residue. He makes a note. I'll get a warrant. The warrant comes through on Monday. Police search the apartment and seize the coffee maker, finding traces of zolpidem residue in the water reservoir. Daniel's fingerprints are all over it. They also find the broken pieces of my travel mug in the trash. Apparently, Daniel hadn't taken the garbage out, and those test positive for residue too. It's enough to press charges. The DA files multiple counts: assault, fraud, attempted murder. That last one surprises me. The insurance policies plus the drugging establish intent, the prosecutor explains. She's young, maybe 30, with the kind of burning intensity that suggests she takes these cases personally. Her name is Amanda Rodriguez, and she tells me she's handled domestic abuse cases for 5 years. He was slowly incapacitating you, isolating you, and setting up a massive financial payoff for your death. That's attempted murder by poisoning, even if he never got to the final stage. What if he says he was just trying to help me sleep? I ask. What if he claims I knew about it? Your medical records show you never reported sleep problems. Your hair analysis shows you didn't know you were being drugged. The levels are consistent with unwitting exposure. And the search queries on his computer about undetectable poisons don't exactly support an innocent explanation. She leans forward. Sophie, we have a strong case, but I need you to be prepared for trial. He'll paint you as a jilted woman making false accusations. His lawyer will say Melissa is a crazy ex poisoning your mind. They'll claim the insurance policies were normal financial planning. Can you handle that? I think about the past 3 weeks. Discovering my marriage is fake. Finding out I've been systematically drugged. Learning the man I loved was possibly planning to kill me. I've handled all of that without falling apart. Yes, I say. I can handle it. Daniel is arrested on a Wednesday afternoon. I'm at work. I'd gone back to my job at the marketing firm, needing normalcy and routine, when Detective Chen calls to tell me. He was at a coffee shop in North Beach, Chen says, drinking a latte, working on his laptop like he didn't have a care in the world. He didn't resist arrest. That night, Melissa takes me out for dinner. We go to a quiet place in the Mission, nothing fancy, just good food and a chance to talk without the weight of crisis hanging over us. "How are you doing?" she asks over appetizers. I don't know, I admit. Some days I'm angry. Some days I'm just sad. Some days I can't believe any of this is real. That's normal. It took me years to process what he did to me, and I didn't have half the evidence you have. I just ran. She swirls her wine. You're braver than I was. I'm not brave. I just don't have a choice. There's always a choice. You could have ignored the warning signs, believed his lies, gone back to him. A lot of people do, but you didn't. You chose to see the truth, even though it hurt. We talk about other things too. Her life in Seattle, the business she started, the therapy that helped her rebuild. She's been in a healthy relationship for 2 years now, with a woman named Kate who teaches high school English. She's happy. The life she built after Daniel is better than the one she had with him. You'll get there too, she promises. It doesn't feel like it now, but you will. The trial is set for 6 months out. In the meantime, I move into my own apartment, a studio in the Sunset District, with a view of Golden Gate Park. It's small, but it's mine. Truly mine. I buy new furniture, new dishes, new everything. I need to purge Daniel from my life completely. I also start seeing a therapist. Dr. Ramona Keating specializes in abuse survivors, and she helps me untangle the complicated knot of emotions I'm carrying. Grief for the relationship I thought I had. Anger at being manipulated. Fear about what might have happened if Melissa hadn't showed up. Guilt for not seeing the signs sooner. You're not responsible for his actions, Dr. Keating tells me in one session. He's a skilled manipulator who spent years perfecting his technique. The fact that you fell for it doesn't make you stupid or weak. It makes you human. She teaches me about trauma responses, about gaslighting, about how abusers select and groom their victims. I learn that everything Daniel did followed a predictable pattern: isolation, control, dependency, then escalation. I wasn't special. I was just convenient. That's somehow both comforting and devastating. Vanessa is there through all of it, my constant cheerleader and support system. She helps me move, sits with me during panic attacks, and reminds me to eat when grief kills my appetite. I don't know what I'd do without her. The preliminary hearing happens in November. Daniel appears in an orange jumpsuit, looking thinner and older than I remember. His lawyer argues the charges are overblown, that at most his client is guilty of insurance fraud and maybe a misdemeanor assault. There's no proof Mr. Reeves intended any actual harm to Ms. Chen, his lawyer says. The prosecution's case relies entirely on speculation and the testimony of a bitter ex-wife with documented mental health issues. Amanda Rodriguez counters with the computer files, the pattern of drugging, the escalating insurance policies. Mr. Reeves was building a timeline, she argues, establishing dependency, weakening his victim, and setting up a massive financial payoff. The only reason Ms. Chen is alive today is because she discovered his plan before he could execute it. The judge finds sufficient evidence to proceed to trial. Daniel doesn't look at me once during the entire hearing. Thanksgiving comes and goes. I spend it with Vanessa's family, feeling grateful for what I have and what I escaped. Christmas, too, passes in a blur of work and therapy in preparation for trial. The trial begins in February, a cold San Francisco winter with rain that never seems to stop. The courthouse is downtown, a Beaux-Arts building with marble floors and echoing hallways. I sit in the gallery every day, watching as the prosecution builds their case piece by piece. Melissa testifies about her marriage, the drugging she endured, the terror that made her run. Daniel's lawyer tries to discredit her, brings up the fact that she changed her name, implies she's unstable. But Melissa holds firm, calm, and credible, explaining exactly why she felt the need to disappear. Dr. Okonkwo testifies about my toxicology results, the pattern of exposure, the effects of long-term low-dose Ambien use. She's professional and unshakable, explaining the medical evidence in terms the jury can understand. Detective Chen walks through the investigation, the evidence they found, the timeline they established. He presents the computer files, the insurance policies, the coffee maker with Daniel's fingerprints all over the tainted water reservoir. And then I testify. This is the part I've been dreading, sitting in the witness box while Daniel's lawyer tries to paint me as vindictive, jealous, a woman scorned making up stories. But Amanda has prepared me well. Ms. Chen, Daniel's lawyer asks, "Isn't it true that you were angry when you discovered Mr. Reeves had been previously married?" "Yes," I say. "I was angry that he'd lied to me." "Angry enough to want revenge?" "Angry enough to want the truth." "And didn't you conspire with Ms. Hartwell to fabricate these charges as a way to punish Mr. Reeves for his deception?" "No, I didn't even believe Melissa at first. I went to the apartment to look for evidence because I needed to know if she was telling the truth. What I found was worse than anything she'd told me." The lawyer pivots, tries a different approach. "You lived with Mr. Reeves for 5 years. Did he ever physically harm you during that time?" "He drugged me without my knowledge or consent." "That's physical harm. But you have no memory of him putting anything in your coffee, correct?" "That's the nature of Ambien. It affects memory formation. But the medical evidence shows..." "Please just answer the question, Ms. Chen. You don't have any actual memories of Mr. Reeves drugging you, do you?" "Not specific memories, no." "But thank you. Nothing further." Amanda stands for redirect. "Sophie, the defense suggests you don't have memories of being drugged. Can you tell the jury why that is?" "Because that's what Ambien does. It's used as a date rape drug precisely because it prevents memory formation. The fact that I don't remember being drugged is exactly what we'd expect if I was being drugged." "And the medical evidence, your hair analysis, what does that show?" "That I was exposed to Ambien regularly over several months, during a time when I had no prescription for Ambien and no reason to be taking it." "Thank you. No further questions. The trial lasts 3 weeks. The jury deliberates for 2 days. When they return, I'm sitting in the front row, Vanessa on one side and Melissa on the other. Daniel sits at the defense table looking straight ahead, his expression carefully neutral. "Have you reached a verdict?" the judge asks. "We have, Your Honor." The foreperson stands. My heart is hammering so hard I can feel it in my throat. "On the count of assault with intent to commit great bodily injury, we find the defendant guilty." Daniel's shoulders slump. "On the count of insurance fraud, we find the defendant guilty." His lawyer puts a hand on his arm. "On the count of attempted murder, we find the defendant guilty." The courtroom erupts. The judge calls for order. I'm crying. Vanessa is hugging me. Melissa is squeezing my hand so hard it hurts. Daniel is being led out in handcuffs, and he finally turns to look at me. His expression is cold, hateful, nothing like the man I thought I loved. Good. Let me see who he really is. Sentencing comes 2 months later. The judge gives Daniel 15 years to life, calling his crimes calculated, cruel, and predatory. She notes that he targeted vulnerable women, gained their trust, then systematically abused them. "You're a danger to society," she tells him, "and you'll remain incarcerated until you can prove otherwise." He doesn't speak, doesn't apologize, doesn't show remorse. He just stands there stone-faced as they lead him away. Outside the courthouse, Amanda Rodriguez gives a brief statement to the press. "Justice has been served today for Sophie Chen and all the women who might have become Mr. Reeves's future victims. This conviction sends a message that financial abuse, psychological manipulation, and attempted murder will not be tolerated." Reporters shout questions. I don't answer any of them. Vanessa guides me to her car, and we drive away from the courthouse, away from Daniel, away from that entire nightmare chapter of my life. 1 year later, I'm sitting in a coffee shop in Hayes Valley, not making coffee at home anymore. Probably never will again, working on my laptop. I got promoted at work, now managing my own team. I'm seeing someone new, a woman named Jenna who teaches yoga and has never lied to me about anything. We're taking it slow, but it's good, healthy. My phone buzzes with a text from Melissa. She sends updates every few months, checking in, making sure I'm okay. We've become friends in the way people bonded by trauma sometimes do. Her message today is a photo. Her and Kate at the courthouse in Seattle, holding up a marriage certificate. "Finally official," the caption reads. "You should come visit sometime." I smile and send congratulations. Then I go back to my work, to my peaceful afternoon, to my life. People sometimes ask me if I'm angry about the 5 years I lost with Daniel. The answer is complicated. Yes, I'm angry, but I'm also grateful that Melissa was brave enough to come back and warn me. Grateful that I listened to my instincts when they told me something was wrong. Grateful that I got out before Daniel's plan reached its inevitable conclusion. I think about the woman I was a year ago, sitting at that anniversary dinner, watching a stranger approach our table. I was so naive then, so trusting. I believed in fairy tales and happy endings and the idea that love conquers all. I'm different now. Wiser maybe, definitely more cautious. I don't make coffee for Jenna, and I don't let her make it for me. We meet at cafes instead, neutral ground where we can both see what we're drinking. I keep copies of all my important documents. I've memorized the signs of manipulation and control. I trust, but I also verify. Some people might call that sad, this loss of innocence. I call it survival, because the truth is, I'm one of the lucky ones. I had Melissa's warning, the evidence we needed, a prosecutor who believed me, a jury that saw through Daniel's lies. Not every woman gets that. Not every story ends with justice, but mine did. And now I'm sitting in a sunny coffee shop, working a job I love, planning a weekend trip to Seattle to celebrate my friend's wedding. I'm building a new life, a real one this time, with genuine connections and honest love. Daniel is in San Quentin, exactly where he belongs. And I'm free. That's the ending I choose to focus on. Not the betrayal or the lies or the 5 years I'll never get back. Just this. I'm free, I'm safe, and I'm finally, truly myself. The woman who wasn't dead saved my life. And I saved my own life by choosing to believe her, to investigate, to fight back. That's the story I tell myself now. Not a tragedy, but a triumph. I close my laptop, finish my coffee, and head out into the bright San Francisco afternoon. There's yoga class with Jenna tonight, dinner with Vanessa on Thursday, a whole beautiful life stretching out ahead of me, a life I almost lost but didn't. A life I'm going to live fully, carefully, gratefully, every single day. Because I can. Because I'm here. Because I survived, it's been a long time. I look at my husband. He's staring at this woman like she's crawled out of his nightmares. "Melissa," he whispers. The wine glass trembles in his suspended hand. You're supposed to be dead?" She laughs, and it's a pretty sound. Musical even. I know. Convenient story, wasn't it? The restaurant continues its ambient noise around us. The clink of silverware, the murmur of other diners, someone's delighted laugh from the bar. But at our table, time has stopped. I'm still holding my menu. The server was just here, promising to return with bread. We were deciding between the osso buco and the lamb, debating whether to splurge on a second bottle of wine for our 5th anniversary. 5 years. We've been married for 5 years, and Daniel told me his ex-wife died in a car accident 7 years ago. The math doesn't work. But she's standing here, very much alive, and my husband looks like he's seeing a ghost. "I'm sorry," I hear myself say, and my voice sounds remarkably steady. I think there's been some mistake. I look up at this woman with my husband's eyes. My husband's first wife passed away before we met. Melissa tilts her head, studying me with something that might be pity. "Is that what he told you?" She shifts her attention back to Daniel. "Really, Danny? Dead? That's quite a bit darker than what we agreed on." "We didn't agree on anything," Daniel says, and now his voice is working again, tight and angry. "You left. You said you were leaving, and then you—" He stops, glances at me, and I can see him calculating what to say, what to reveal, what to keep hidden. That's when I know. Whatever this is, whatever story I'm about to hear, my husband is not the innocent party. You don't look that guilty if you're just a victim of circumstances. "Why don't I give you two a moment?" I say, setting down my menu with great care. "I need to use the restroom." "Sophie, wait." Daniel reaches for my hand, but I'm already standing, already walking away. My heels click on the marble floor of Marcello's, counting out steady beats that match my heart rate. I make it to the bathroom, into a stall, before my hands start shaking. 7 years ago, Daniel told me his first wife died in a car accident on the Pacific Coast Highway. He showed me the news article, a brief paragraph from a Marin County paper about a single vehicle accident, a woman pronounced dead at the scene. Melissa Hartwell, 29. There was a photo, grainy and small. I'd looked at it for maybe 10 seconds, felt a wave of sympathy for this young woman who'd died, for my boyfriend who'd lost her. And then we'd moved forward with our lives. He'd seemed so broken when he told me, sitting on my couch with tears in his eyes, explaining why he sometimes woke up from nightmares, why he was slow to commit, I'd fallen even more in love with him in that moment. This wounded man letting me in. I lean against the stall door, breathing slowly through my nose. The bathroom smells like expensive soap and lilies. Someone's heels click past, heading to the sinks. I hear water running, the electric hum of the hand dryer, then silence. My phone is in my hand before I consciously decide to take it out. I pull up Google and type, Melissa Hartwell car accident, Marin County 2018, with trembling fingers. The article loads immediately. I've seen it before. Daniel showed it to me 3 years ago. But now I'm reading it differently, looking for details I missed. Woman dies in PCH crash. The article is 3 sentences long. A single vehicle accident. The name Melissa Hartwell, pronounced dead at the scene. That's it, no age, no hometown, no details about survivors or funeral arrangements or next of kin. I search Melissa Hartwell obituary, nothing relevant. I search Melissa Hartwell San Francisco. Too many results, none obviously connected to Daniel. I try Melissa Hartwell Daniel Reeves marriage, and get nothing at all. For a man who's been married before, my husband has left remarkably few digital footprints. The bathroom door opens again. I freeze, suddenly afraid it's her. Melissa, the dead woman, come to corner me in the restroom with more revelations. But it's just another diner, humming softly as she enters a stall. I wait until she's closed the door, then slip out and return to the sinks. The woman in the mirror looks remarkably composed. Dark hair still smooth, lipstick still perfect, the navy dress Daniel loves still unwrinkled. Only my eyes give me away. Too wide, too focused, the look of someone trying very hard not to fall apart. I've been gone maybe 4 minutes. When I return to our table, Melissa is gone. Daniel sits alone, both hands wrapped around his wine glass like he's trying to keep it from floating away. The bread has arrived, sitting untouched in its basket. Where is she? I ask, sliding into my chair. She left. Daniel won't meet my eyes. Sophie, I can explain. Is she dead or not? The question comes out sharper than I intend. It's complicated. That's not an answer. He finally looks at me, and I see something I've never seen before in those sea glass eyes. Calculation. He's deciding what story to tell me, weighing his options, choosing the version of truth he thinks I'll believe. The realization hits me like cold water. She's not dead, he says slowly. Obviously, but she might as well be. She left me, Sophie. Just walked out 7 years ago and disappeared. No divorce, no closure, nothing. She emptied her half of our bank account and vanished. I tried to find her for months, hired a private investigator, filed a missing person report. Nothing. It was like she ceased to exist. So you told people she died. I told you she died. He corrects, and there's an edge in his voice now. Because to me, she did. The woman I married, the person I thought I knew, she was gone. And then I met you. And I didn't want that complication hanging over us. I didn't want you to think I was still married to some ghost who might show up someday. Except she did show up. I pick up my water glass. Take a sip. The ice has mostly melted. Today, at our anniversary dinner. What a coincidence. You think I knew? Daniel leans forward, earnest now, pleading. Sophie, I had no idea she was back. I'm as shocked as you are. What did she want? Something flickers across his face. What? What did Melissa want when she came to the table? What did she say to you after I left? Nothing. She just wanted to, I don't know, mess with me. She always liked mind games. He reaches across the table for my hand. Baby, please, don't let her ruin this. It's our anniversary. We've built something real together, something that has nothing to do with her or my past or... You lied to me. I don't pull my hand away, but I don't squeeze back either. For 3 years you lied. Every time we drove past a cemetery. Every time someone mentioned losing a spouse. Every time I tried to comfort you about your dead wife, it was all a lie. I was protecting us. No. I shake my head slowly. You were protecting yourself. There's a difference. The server appears at my elbow, cheerful and oblivious. Have we decided on entrees? She asks, pen poised over her notepad. We need a few more minutes, Daniel says without looking at her. Of course. Take your time. She backs away, sensing the tension, her smile fading. I pick up my phone again. Daniel watches me with growing alarm. What are you doing? Searching for your divorce records. I type as I talk, my voice conversational. Because you two are still married, aren't you? You never filed for divorce. Probably couldn't without knowing where she was. I look up at him. Which makes me what, exactly? Your mistress? Your make-believe wife? The color drains from his face again. It's not like that. We're not legally married. It's not a question. The truth is settling over me like ice water, cold and clarifying. Our marriage isn't real. Our house is in your name only. Now I know why. I can't be on your insurance because... I trail off thinking. You said it was a paperwork issue with your company. But that was a lie too, wasn't it? Sophie, please, did we even get legally married? The courthouse wedding, the judge, the certificate, was any of that real? I'm scrolling through photos on my phone now, looking for our wedding pictures. We did it small, just us and 2 friends as witnesses. Quick ceremony downtown. Daniel had said he didn't want a big fuss, that he'd done the whole traditional wedding thing before, and it felt wrong to repeat it. I'd thought it was romantic, this intimate beginning just for us. Now I'm seeing something else entirely. A man who couldn't legally marry me because he already had a wife. The ceremony was real, Daniel says quietly. The officiant was real, but I didn't file the paperwork. I couldn't, obviously. Sophie, I was going to. As soon as I could track Melissa down, get a divorce finalized, I was going to file everything retroactively and make it legal. You have to believe me. Why would I believe anything you say? I set my phone down on the white tablecloth between us. You've been lying to me since the day we met. Not about loving you. His voice cracks. Never about that. Everything else, every moment we've shared, that's all been real. I just wanted to protect you from this mess, from her. She's dangerous, Sophie. She's manipulative and cruel, and I was trying to keep you safe. By lying to me? By trapping me in a fake marriage? I laugh, and it sounds brittle even to my own ears. That's not protection, Daniel. That's control. The people at the next table are glancing over now, trying not to stare. I lower my voice, lean in closer. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to leave. I'm going to get an Uber, go home, pack a bag, and stay somewhere else tonight. Maybe longer. I need time to think, to process this, to figure out what the hell I've been living for the past 5 years. And you're going to let me go. You're not going to follow me. You're not going to show up wherever I'm staying. You're not going to blow up my phone with apologies and explanations. Do you understand? Sophie, you can't just... Yes, I can. I stand, dropping my napkin onto my chair. Actually, I really can. Because here's the thing about not being legally married, Daniel. I don't need a divorce to leave you. I walk out of Marcello's with my head high, feeling his eyes on my back the whole way. The night air is cold, sharp with the smell of exhaust in the Italian restaurant next door. I'm on Pine Street in San Francisco's Nob Hill, and the sidewalk is full of couples heading to dinner, to shows, to hotel rooms. It's Saturday night. The city is alive, and my marriage just ended. Except it was never a marriage at all. The Uber arrives in 3 minutes. I climb into the back seat and give the driver an address in Noe Valley, my friend Vanessa's apartment. As we pull away from the curb, I see Daniel standing on the sidewalk outside Marcello's, backlit by the restaurant's golden glow, watching me leave. He has his phone to his ear already, calling me, presumably. My phone buzzes in my purse. I silence it without looking. By the time we reach Vanessa's building, I have 17 missed calls from my husband and 12 text messages. I don't read them. I pay the driver, thank him for the smooth ride, and stand on the sidewalk looking up at Vanessa's 3rd-floor windows. The lights are on. She's home. I take out my phone and finally read a message. Not from Daniel, but from an unknown number that came through 20 minutes ago. We should talk. You deserve to know the truth about what Danny's been doing. And Melissa. The dead woman has my number. I stare at the message for a long moment, then delete it. Whatever truth Melissa has to share, I'm not ready for it tonight. Tonight, I need a friend, a glass of wine, and a place to fall apart in private. The truth can wait until morning. Vanessa opens her door in yoga pants and an oversized Stanford sweatshirt, takes one look at my face, and pulls me inside without a word. She already has the wine breathing. What happened? She asks when we're settled on her couch, glasses in hand. Daniel's first wife isn't dead, I say. She showed up at dinner, very much alive, and apparently still married to my husband. I take a long drink. Also, I'm not actually married. So there's that. To her credit, Vanessa doesn't gasp or exclaim or pepper me with questions. She just sits with that for a moment, processing. Okay, she says finally. We're going to need more wine. She's right. I spend that night on Vanessa's couch, not sleeping, alternating between numb disbelief and spikes of fury. My phone continues buzzing periodically. Daniel calling and texting, each message more desperate than the last. Around 2 a.m., the messages shift tone. Please answer. I'm worried about you. Sophie, I know you're angry, but this is extreme. We need to talk like adults. You're being irrational. I deserve a chance to explain properly. That last one makes me laugh. A sharp bark that startles Vanessa's cat off the arm of the couch. I'm being irrational. The man who's been lying to me for 3 years thinks I'm being irrational for needing space. I block his number and finally drift into uneasy sleep around 3 a.m. Morning comes too early. I wake to bright sunlight and the smell of coffee. Vanessa is in her kitchen making pancakes. Acting like having her best friend crash after discovering her entire marriage is a lie is totally normal. Maybe in San Francisco it is. You have a visitor, she says when I emerge from the bathroom. Face washed, hair pulled back. She's been waiting about 20 minutes. My stomach drops. Daniel? No, a woman. Says her name is Melissa. The dead wife is on Vanessa's couch, looking perfectly comfortable in designer jeans and a cashmere sweater. She's prettier in daylight. Late 30s, auburn hair, those disconcertingly familiar eyes. She stands when she sees me, offering a careful smile. Thank you for seeing me, she says. I know this is strange. Strange is one word for it. I remain standing by the kitchen doorway, keeping distance between us. How did you know where I was? I followed your Uber last night. I'm sorry, I know how creepy that sounds, but I needed to talk to you, and I knew Danny wouldn't let me near you if I waited. She glances at Vanessa. Could we have a moment alone? No, Vanessa says flatly. Anything you have to say to Sophie, you can say with me here. Melissa nods slowly. Fair enough. Sophie, I'm not here to cause problems. I'm here because you need to know what you're dealing with. Danny, he's not who you think he is. Obviously, I say, since he told me you were dead. It's worse than that. Melissa sits back down, gestures for me to join her. I stay standing. She continues anyway. Danny and I were married for 4 years. For 3 of those years, I thought I was losing my mind. Little things kept happening. I'd lose my keys, find them in strange places. Money would go missing from my wallet. I'd make plans with friends, and they'd say I'd canceled, but I had no memory of canceling. I started forgetting appointments, conversations, entire days. Something cold slithers down my spine. What are you saying? I'm saying he was drugging me. Melissa's voice is calm, matter of fact, like she's describing the weather. Small doses of Ambien in my morning coffee, just enough to make me foggy, forgetful, confused. Enough to make me doubt myself. By the end, I was convinced I had early onset Alzheimer's. I saw doctors, neurologists. They couldn't find anything wrong, which only made me feel crazier. I sink onto Vanessa's armchair. That's insane. Yes, Melissa agrees. It is, but it's also true. I finally figured it out by accident. I came home early one day and caught him crushing pills into my coffee maker. When I confronted him, he didn't even deny it. He said he was trying to help me relax, that I was too high-strung, too anxious. He was worried about me. So you left, I say slowly. I ran. She corrects me. There's a difference. I packed one bag, emptied my personal bank account, and disappeared. I went to my brother's place in Seattle, started over completely. New name, new life. I was too afraid to file for divorce because I'd have to surface, and I was terrified he'd find me. So I just vanished. Let him think I was dead. Let him tell whatever story he wanted, as long as I was safe. Vanessa leans against the kitchen counter, arms crossed. Why come back now? Because I saw his Facebook page. Melissa looks at me. I saw your wedding photos. This beautiful, happy woman. And I thought, she has no idea what she's married to. And I couldn't live with that. I couldn't let him do to someone else what he did to me. My mouth is dry. He hasn't drugged me. Are you sure? Melissa's gaze is steady, compassionate. Do you ever feel foggy in the mornings? Forget conversations you've had? Lose track of time? I start to say no, then stop. Because there have been mornings when I've woken up groggy, blamed it on poor sleep or too much wine the night before. Times when Daniel says we discussed something and I have no memory of it. Days that seem to blur together. I'd chalked it up to stress from work, from wedding planning, from life. But now, no, I say firmly. No, if he was drugging you, that's horrible. But he's never done anything like that to me. We have a normal, healthy relationship. Or we did, until I found out he was already married. Melissa's expression shifts to something that might be pity. Sophie, do you know where he works? He's in tech, software development. He works from home most days. I hear the defensiveness in my voice. What company? I open my mouth, then close it. He's freelance. Contracts with different companies. Has he ever introduced you to a colleague? Shown you a pay stub? Taken you to a work event? The silence stretches. Vanessa is staring at me now, and I can see her mind working through the same questions. He values his privacy, I say weakly. He doesn't like mixing personal and professional life. Sophie. Melissa leans forward. There is no job. Danny hasn't worked in tech since we were married. He got fired for stealing proprietary code and selling it to competitors. He was blacklisted from the industry. Whatever money he's been living on, it's not from software development. The ground is tilting underneath me. You're lying. I wish I was. She pulls out her phone, scrolls through something, then hands it to me. This is the civil lawsuit his former employer filed against him. You can look it up yourself. It's public record. Reeves v. Hartwell, San Francisco County Superior Court, 2017. I don't take the phone. If I take it, if I look, then this becomes real. And I'm not ready for this to be real. Why should I believe you? I ask. You show up after 7 years, tell me my husband is some kind of monster, expect me to just take your word for it? For all I know, you're the crazy one. Maybe you stalked him, made his life hell, and now you're back to do it again with me as a weapon. That's what he'll tell you I am, Melissa says quietly. The crazy ex. The stalker, the liar. He's very good at making people believe him. He made me believe I was losing my mind for 3 years. She sets her phone on the coffee table between us. I'm not asking you to believe me right now. I'm asking you to pay attention. Watch him carefully. Check his coffee maker before you use it. Keep track of your keys, your money, your memories. And if anything feels wrong, trust your instincts. Don't let him convince you you're imagining things. She stands, smoothing down her sweater. I'm staying at the Fairmont for a few more days. Room 847. If you need anything, if you remember anything, if things start adding up in ways you don't like, call me. Or don't. But know that I'm here, and I believe you. And you're not crazy. She leaves her phone number written on a napkin and walks out of Vanessa's apartment, leaving me sitting in stunned silence. Holy shit, Vanessa says after the door closes. Sophie, what the fuck? I can't answer. My mind is spinning through the past 3 years, looking for cracks, for signs, for evidence that Melissa is telling the truth. But everything looks normal from this angle. Daniel has always been loving, attentive, supportive. He makes me coffee in the mornings. He asks about my day. He remembers my favorite foods, my friends' names, the small details that make me feel seen. He makes me coffee in the mornings. I need to go home, I hear myself say. No way. Vanessa shakes her head. Sophie, if even half of what she said is true, I need to see for myself. I'm already gathering my things. Purse, phone, shoes. I need to know if she's telling the truth or if she's trying to mess with my head. And the only way to know is to go home and look. Then I'm coming with you. We take Vanessa's car. The drive to Pacific Heights takes 20 minutes in Sunday morning traffic. Our building, Daniel's building technically, since only his name is on the lease, is a converted Victorian on Broadway, painted cream and mint green, with bay windows and a view of the Golden Gate Bridge from the top floor. It's beautiful. It's always felt like a fairy tale, living here. Now it feels like a trap. I unlock the front door quietly, half expecting Daniel to be waiting in the living room. But the apartment is empty. His car keys are gone from the hook by the door. A note on the kitchen counter reads, "Went to give you space. Please call me. I love you." D. Sweet, Vanessa mutters. Real considerate after lying for 3 years. I walk straight to the coffee maker. It's a fancy automatic thing Daniel bought last year. Claims it makes the best espresso in the city. I've never questioned it. Why would I? It's just a coffee maker. Vanessa stands beside me as I examine it. What are we looking for? I don't know. I open the water reservoir, the bean hopper, the drip tray. Everything looks normal. Clean. I run my finger along the inside of the coffee grounds container and come away with nothing but dark residue. Maybe she's lying, Vanessa offers. Maybe she really is the crazy ex. But I'm thinking about other things now. The bathroom medicine cabinet. I walk there, Vanessa following, and start opening shelves. Daniel's contact solution, his shaving cream, his expensive face wash, ibuprofen Tums Claritin, all normal. Then, behind a box of bandages on the top shelf, I find a prescription bottle. Zolpidem, generic Ambien. Prescribed to Daniel Reeves. The date on the label is from 3 months ago, and the bottle is half empty. He has insomnia, I say, but my voice sounds hollow. He's had trouble sleeping since I've known him. Does he take these? Vanessa asks, taking the bottle from my hand to examine it. I try to remember ever seeing Daniel take a sleeping pill before bed. I can't. He drinks chamomile tea sometimes. Does breathing exercises. But I've never seen him take medication. I don't know. I admit. We keep searching. His office is next. A small second bedroom converted into a workspace with a desk, 2 monitors, a wall of bookshelves. I boot up his computer, but it's password protected. I try our anniversary, my birthday, his mother's name. Nothing works. Try Melissa, Vanessa suggests. I type it in. The computer unlocks. Oh, that's not good, Vanessa whispers. The desktop is obsessively organized. Folders labeled by year, by project, by category. I click on one marked financial and find spreadsheets tracking expenses, income, investments. The income column is mostly zeros. A few entries show payments from something called Hartwell Consulting, but they're sporadic, small amounts. Where's the money coming from? Vanessa asks, reading over my shoulder. I open another folder. Insurance. Inside are policy documents, beneficiary forms, claim submissions. My name is on several of them. Life insurance policies where I'm listed as the insured and Daniel is the beneficiary. 3 different policies totaling $2.5 million. I stop breathing. Sophie, Vanessa says carefully. When did you sign these? I didn't. But even as I say it, I'm remembering. Daniel bringing home paperwork, saying it was for health insurance through his company. Me signing pages while distracted, watching TV, trusting him to tell me what they were. Him saying we needed life insurance, that it was responsible, that it would protect us if anything happened. Me signing more papers, barely reading them, because why would I? He's my husband. Was my husband? Isn't my husband at all. He's been taking out life insurance on you, Vanessa says. Multiple policies. Sophie, you need to call the police. And tell them what? That my fake husband has life insurance policies with me as the beneficiary? That his supposedly dead first wife says he used to drug her? We don't have proof of anything. The Ambien. He has a prescription. For himself? That's not proof. I'm clicking through more folders now, desperate for something concrete. There's one marked medical, with files that make my blood run cold. Scanned documents about Ambien dosing, articles about undetectable poisons, research into drugs that mimic natural causes of death. Okay, that's proof, Vanessa says. Sophie, we need to leave, now. We'll go straight to the police. The front door opens. We freeze, looking at each other in the sudden terrible silence. Then Daniel's voice calls out, cheerful and familiar. Sophie? Baby, are you home? I saw Vanessa's car outside, footsteps in the hallway, coming closer. Vanessa grabs my arm, pulls me toward the office closet. We squeeze inside just as Daniel appears in the doorway. Through the slats, I can see him notice the open computer, the pulled-out files. His expression changes, flashes through surprise, anger, calculation, then settles into something neutral. Sophie, he calls out, walking to the computer. I know you're here, and I know Melissa talked to you. Whatever she said, it's not what you think. He's closing the folders I left open, powering down the computer. She's sick, baby. She has paranoid delusions. I probably should have told you, but I didn't want to speak ill of her. She needs help, not people believing her stories. He's moving through the apartment now, checking rooms. Vanessa has her phone out, typing frantically, calling 911 probably. But the service is spotty in this old building, and the message isn't sending. I love you, Daniel continues, his voice carrying from the bedroom now. I know I made mistakes. Lying about Melissa being dead was wrong, but I did it because I love you so much. And I didn't want my messy past to come between us. Everything I've done to protect what we have. He's in the kitchen now. I hear the coffee maker start up, the grinder whirring, making coffee. Like this is a normal Sunday morning. Why don't you come out and we'll talk about this? He calls. I'll answer any questions you have. Complete honesty, I promise. We can work through this together. Vanessa's call finally goes through. She puts the phone to her ear, whispers urgently. We need police at 2847 Broadway, apartment 4B. We're hiding in a closet. The resident may be dangerous. Please hurry. The dispatcher's tinny voice asks questions. Vanessa answers in whispers so quiet I can barely hear her. Daniel is walking back toward the office. I know you're scared, he says. And I know how this looks. But think about it logically, Sophie. If I wanted to hurt you, would I have given you space last night? Would I have left you alone? I'm not the monster Melissa painted me to be. I'm the man who loves you, who's built a life with you, who wants to spend forever with you. He's right outside the closet now. I can see his shadow through the slats. My heart is hammering so hard I'm sure he can hear it. Come out, baby. His voice is soft, pleading. Please, let's talk about this like adults. I can explain everything. His hand is on the closet doorknob. Then, from outside, sirens. Getting closer. Daniel freezes, his hand still on the knob. The sirens grow louder, closer, until they're right outside our building. Daniel steps back from the closet, and I hear him say very quietly, You called the police on me. After everything, you actually called the police. His footsteps retreat. The apartment door opens and closes. When the police knock 2 minutes later, calling for Daniel Reeves, the apartment is empty except for 2 women in a closet and a pot of fresh coffee cooling on the counter. The police take statements. They examine the computer files, the insurance policies, the Ambien prescription. They take the coffee pot as evidence and promise to have it tested. They ask if I want to press charges, and I explain that I don't know what charges to press. He hasn't actually hurt me. Hasn't actually done anything except lie and be creepy and possibly plan something terrible. Has he ever threatened you? The officer asks. She's kind, thorough, in her late 40s with gray in her ponytail. No. Hurt you physically? No. Do you have somewhere safe to stay? Yes. She gives me her card. Call if he contacts you, if he shows up, if anything feels wrong. And Ms. Chen. She glances at the computer screen still showing those medical research files. Be careful. Everything here suggests premeditation. If he was planning something, finding out you know about it might accelerate his timeline. Don't go anywhere alone. Don't eat or drink anything you haven't prepared yourself, and consider getting a restraining order. I nod numbly. Vanessa drives me back to her apartment. We don't talk during the ride. What is there to say? That night, lying on Vanessa's couch again, I finally read Daniel's messages. They've gotten darker. I can't believe you'd think I'd hurt you. After everything we've been to each other, Melissa poisoned your mind against me. Can't you see that? She's manipulating you. I never wanted it to come to this. But you've left me no choice. That last one makes me sit up. No choice about what? I screenshot it, send it to the officer's email, then block Daniel's number again. He starts texting from different numbers. I block those too. Melissa calls the next morning. I heard about the police visit, she says. Are you okay? How did you hear about it? I have a contact in the department. After what Danny did to me, I've kept tabs on him, made sure he didn't hurt anyone else. She pauses. Though clearly I didn't keep close enough tabs, or I'd have found you sooner. I'm sorry. What happened after you left him? I ask. Did he try to find you? For about 6 months, he hired investigators, called my friends and family, showed up at places he thought I might be. Then he stopped. I assumed he'd moved on. Now I'm thinking he just found a new target. Me, I say quietly.